Welcome to Online Game Freaks. This is Freaks, and thank you very much for joining our continuing series of Scrap Mechanic. Our goal, of course, is to try to take on the hardest raids that Scrap Mechanic has to offer, and today we're doing one of the things that part of that preparation requires. I was dropping off some produce at the packing station, as you can see here, and the packing station, of course, you got to feed these containers, with vacuum things, right? You take these little vacuum pumps, you line them on here, and it squirts them in there. My current system is I line up the truck, and I can either try to drive it carefully and line up those pumps, or I can pick it up with the lift, and you line it up a little bit, and you gotta, it's a thing, right? You just line it up, and it's not horrible. Once you get the first one lined up a little bit. And then, of course, the trick is when you get in the car, you got to get in, you push some buttons, and it pumps it in. It's very manual. It's not terrible, but it's very manual. My plan for this evening, this scrap evening, is to automate this process a little bit. I think what we can do is do better than just sit here with the truck, try to line it up, and manually keep doing this. I've reached the point where I have so much produce that I don't want to just sit here and hit one button every time I want to put a piece of produce in. We look here, I have all this produce in the container. I have a lot of produce in my inventory, and it's just going to take forever to pump it in here manually. So today, we're going to automate this, and that is one of the gifts of Scrap Mechanic, is that we can automate this. Oh my, I hear cow violence nearby. Oh, I just can't stand to hear it. I fear I'm too late. It's just another walk that died in the night. The first part of this, we just build a little stand like so, just something small, and this goes on it, and with an output going straight into the channel here. I'm hoping I got lucky on that alignment. We can move it. We put the pump on like this, and there we go. See how it's green, it's facing in, the channel's open, it's ready. And if we just put a switch on it like that, I'll wire it in real quick, no big deal. And every time we hit the on switch, it gives it a banana in this case, because there's a couple of test bananas in here. But I have to hit this switch a lot, one per banana to be accurate. To set up our automation, we just need a couple logic blocks, get these facing the right way, and one timer. We put it right here, and we put these in a loop, quite like that. We give this, let's just give it a second. Single, that's plenty. And we'll wire in the on switch to it. And we'll make this one a NOR. And you can see now it's going back and forth. The switch is on, so it's just going back and forth, creating a nice even tick, 1 second apart. We turn it off, and it turns off. So what we do here is if we wire in this switch that's off into the pump, now every time this blips on, which is once a second, it'll deposit a banana. Look at that. Loop once every second. And 1 second's about right, because when it loads a crate is the one time it won't take an input for about a second. The rest of the time it can go a lot faster, but there's no reason to be greedy about it. It'll do this all day. And when it runs out of bananas, it just stops. There's other junk in this chest. There's even fruit. But it just stops when it runs out of the right thing. And if we pick it up and we move it over, we can keep going down the line. But I don't want to even do that much. So next step is let's go ahead and build a frame for all this to sit on. Something a little more attractive than just a chunk of concrete. And I like when I'm building my industrial, I'll put the chest over here. I like when I'm building my industrial items to use these framing pieces, these I-beams. I just think they look really cool. So let's see if we can, we just need it just, as you saw, a couple blocks off the ground. So let's start with these guys. I think these make great stands. Like so. There we go. That looks good. And this is where we'll put our pistons. So where did I put those? Okay, our toolbox here. Piston, and then might as well just go ahead and use this cool material. Okay, let's put it on a little better. There we go. And then another piston, just like that. And from here, it's a matter of lining up the chest spot where we need it. So like, get our tool chest here. We just need it, how do we want? I think if we lay it down, it'll look a little better. Like that. Just like that. That's where we want it. It looks like for this final piece, I need two. So I'm going to use one of these spacers here. Oh, that's going to be cool. Okay, yeah, definitely. Got to do that. Oh, now we got to do the whole chest lineup game. Yeah, it's got to be flipped around the other way. Like that. There we go. Oh, that's going to look cool. Sideways so we can read it. It went blue, so that means we're lined up very nicely. And we got 3 pistons. And if each of these goes 8, it'll get us across to each of the positions we need to. There's 4, but so this would be like 0, 1, 2, 3, and we cover everybody. So let's try the switch. We got multiple switches here. So 1, 2, 3. So if I turn on first one, second one, third one. So this will get us. Oh, are we stuck? Okay, it is catching on that lip a little bit. This is why we test things. So what we'll do is move this over just 1 notch. We'll just move everything over a notch. There we go. It's already sliding better already. No chance of it catching. Okay, so let's reset it. This should be. Okay, there's 0. That went pretty far. It should only go. Well, let's see, 8. It should line you up right here. That's perfect. Second switch should be the next box. And the last one, finally. And there we go. I don't have any pineapple. That's the only reason it didn't turn on. This test works great. With the positioning system complete, the next step is to combine it with the automatic depositing of the fruit into the thing. So we can get the timer piece set up with the piston piece set up. We have a nice automated system. As you can see here, I've done a little bit of construction. I've completed the physical build part of it, including our nice little control panel center here. And we've got the rail all painted up. I left the house with the paint gun, which means I'm going back to the house with no paint. Of course, I used every drop of paint. I always do. That's why I try to lock it up. But I like the look. I like it all blacked out. It looks very industrial with the orange chest. And what's really cool about this chest is now the way I have it built is it can be taken in and out. I've got the framing on it. Let me just put it down. I've got the framing actually attached to the pump. So it doesn't hurt if I just like, oh, I want to pop up and just grab a chest and swap it out. Or I can just take a chest and put it right back in. It's easier to see in first person. But I put it right back and we're fully connected and we're running. We're fully running again, just that easy. Now that we have the physical part of it put together, let's go ahead and put back together all of the components we need to make it smart and do the things that it can do for me so I don't have to sit here and push buttons. So first, let's drop down our gates. We'll have one for each of the positions. There's 4, so we'll have each of those. And then I want to put in our repeater so we get that looping shot that it puts in there so we don't have to push buttons again. Here we go. And then the timer. And I'll put it right here on top. Maybe a little spot for it. And there we go. Now where's my switches? Line these up. Green up always. Perfect. And that's really it. Oh, I am sorry. We have one other piece. And down here you'll see I've added these bricks. And these are position markers for when it's in the right position. Because one thing I don't want it to do, and it's tricky to get it in here. One thing we don't want it to do is shoot when it's not lined up. If it's in between, or, somewhere, we don't want it to be shooting and wasting any of our vegetables. Now that we got all the parts put in, let's do some wiring. So the the idea of it is each of these gates, of course, controls a piston combination. And the first position is really no piston, so we don't have to worry about that. But the first position does need to turn on our looping mechanism and deposit fruit. So for that, let's just go ahead and build our looper. We'll do the timer into the thing and that back into the timer. And we'll make one of these a NOR gate. Either one works. And there we go, we're blinking. And we can control the blink like so. And now it takes 2 seconds instead of 1. Let's make it 1 second. Like so. That's lovely. Now that we got our repeater going, let's bring in our sensor, because we want to make sure, and this has to go on the AND gate, because it has to say, hey, not only are we on and we're blinking, we have to be lined up. And this needs to go to 2, or it won't see it. There we go. The light's on, so it's seeing it now. So it's saying, hey, we're good on the AND condition because we're lined up. With the repeater working with the sensor, let's put in our first logic condition for the first position to deposit the bananas. So for the bananas, we really just need to have no pistons, and we need to make sure that this gate is on. We're going to use this to control the actual depositing of the the fruits, depending on the position. So this one we're going to make an OR, because we're going to say that if any of these are on, let's go ahead and deposit that fruit. And from that, we want to make sure this one goes right into this condition here. So we have to have an on switch. Oops, I didn't tie it into the switch. All right, so the switch is off. That's off. This is an AND. Did I miss? When we get tight, I did miss. Yeah, we got to watch these things. Goes into that one. And there it stops. Okay, so now it has to be on. And if it's off, it stops. That's exactly what we want. So now we have this particular logic gate controlling the on and off of the depositing of the fruit. And for that, we also want to make sure that if any of these other ones are on, they can also turn it on as well. So with that OR condition, if any of these are true, it can go ahead and start the sequence as long as it's aligned with the sensor. Very straightforward so far. Okay, so that'll allow us to turn on the fruit. We've got the logic that says if you're in the right place, you can do that. So then it's a matter of we use these gates to control the actual pistons, one per, like so. And then if we turn on the right gate, it'll activate the piston and put it in the right spot. So for position 2, we just need the first one needs to go 8 spaces. The second one, it needs to go the second one and the first, because it needs to go over 16. And then the third one, of course, you guessed it, all 3. And that'll extend it the full distance. So let's check our wiring. Those are wired. Switches are wired. There are logic gates into the repeater, so there should be fruit. I'm not going to attach it to the fruit yet. I want to make sure the positions and the blinking works for the repeater. So first switch, if we were wired in, bananas would be flying. All right. Second switch. Nope. We've got a glitch. All right. What happened with the second switch? We didn't make it an OR gate. These all need to be OR gates, like so. And you can see as soon as I changed it, it did extend it, the first piston. It's in line, it's blue. If we were repeating, we'd be doing blueberries. All right, let's check the third one. Perfect. And finally, oops, I missed. Last one. And it lines up perfect. I don't have pineapple, of course. It's not going to deposit those, but everything is lining up. It's ready to go. And then finally, oh, and by the way, these you can turn on and off. It doesn't matter. It's going to push it to the farthest switch forward, whatever that is. A little bit of maintenance. If I wanted to build, and I only mean by you got to turn your switch off. We'll put that in the user manual for this console. If I wanted to spin a memory gate, I could. I could build a memory per. It's 9 more logic gates. It's actually not too much, but in this case, I'm gonna try not to over engineer this. I'm really gonna try. So far, we're working great, and I think let's go ahead and hook it up. It might actually be ready to go. Looks like we're all wired up. Let's fire it up and see if it works. And there it goes. We are throwing bananas and we're packaging, and I don't have to worry about bananas. I can walk away and I can grab these and load my truck while it's loading. Now it did run out of bananas, but successful. So let's go ahead and try position 2. Moves quick and it starts to load. It's perfectly worked. This is great. I am out of the click the button to load my fruit. I can come over here and just take care of business. This is great. We are fully automated. So excited. I love it when a plan comes together. This is working great. It might throw one in the middle if the timer's kind of, you know, like within a second or something. Don't care. We have so much fruit, I can lose 1 or 2. So let me load this up. We can sell these, and let's get to the store and see what we can buy from Bob. Because of the new auto feeder, I've discovered a new fun game. I wait here for the next batch to go through, and I catch it in midair. Here, I'll show you. Let's, I think I just finished up all the blueberries. Yeah, let's do some oranges. Okay, I got a few, so I can get over there in time. Okay, it's gonna start doing oranges. And since it's auto feeding, I can just be over here and wait for it like an outfielder. Like, all right, buddy, what you got? Oh, it's in the air. Ah, pop fly. Sorry, buddy. That's not gonna make it. That's the last of the fruit deposited. And now let's see what we've got at the trader. This is what we're looking for. Look at that. We have guns. We have guns. Lots of guns. All the guns. And yeah, I think we are now ready. We're now ready for our next assignment. Look at that. All of that and a little automation to boot. And we now have enough mounted cannons to take out our biggest foes out there. We're just gonna have to do a little assembly, and I think we're gonna take care of that in the next episode. I really wanna thank you for watching. This has been fun. You can see how I automate my way, not just to survival, but to success and actually fun. Now that I got that little chore part out of the way, I can package my veggies real quick. And then I can come over here and get a good deal on with the trader. And now we're coming home with our loot, ready for our next adventure, which is definitely going to be a lot of fun as we take out. We'll put these guns to good use. I definitely think that's going to be a lot of fun for us. So I just want to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Your like and subscribe means so much to me, and I hope to see you next time in game.